I always come back to when I think about what I should do or need to be doing as a teacher, and I always come back to what works for me. And that is what I try to teach. And in my earlier training, and still the person I consider to be my teacher, Max Strom, he wasn't preaching at us. He didn't create an environment that was imposed upon us in our classes. He taught us how to breathe, and he got us into our bodies in a very mindful way, and let the practice work on us. And I always come back to that. You know, taking class here at Rasa this morning, that's what was so nice, is the teacher got me breathing, gave a very nice sequence, held the space for everyone in the class to have their yoga experience. And everyone's yoga experience is going to be different. And so as a student, that's what I love and need. And so as a teacher, I think sometimes I can get a little technical and want a little too much precision. But then I have to remind myself, like, hands off, and get them breathing, get them in their body in a safe, opening, stable way, and let people have their experience. And so I try to remember to keep coming back to that, because it's just what works for me. I don't want somebody else to tell me what my yoga should be like. It sounds a little like a huge, broad, big stroke, but for a beginner, I trust in, if you're breathing and if you're doing some semblance of the pose, but mainly if you're breathing, things get better and better. Things in your body, mentally, things get easier. We become more open-hearted. It just happens. It just happens. You don't even have to try.
So you live on a steel boat off of the coast of Maryland. The Atlantic Ocean is your address currently. So talk to us about that. Talk to us about being a yogini on a boat and living that life.
Yeah, so we've lived on the sailboat, the steel sailboat, for about 1.5 years, and traveled up and down the coast, and it's been the biggest yoga experience of my life, for sure. It makes my asana practice look like child's play.
Where do you practice?
Oh, I can practice inside.
Okay.
I mean, I can even do a handstand, and just barely the tips of my toes touch the ceiling inside. And when the weather's good, I can practice on the deck. Yeah, it's an awesome way of living, but it's a bigger, fuller life for me than I'd say I'm more than I would be comfortable living. So it's really challenged me in terms of learning new skills. I mean, the physical strength it takes, and just living in a very different way physically, and living on the water. Just the skill of sailing, which, you know, I've been learning. And all of that, again, you know, it kind of goes back to when I first started yoga. It's been really humbling for something to be challenging for me. Sailing hasn't really come that easily. And so in that way, and I mean, I felt it from the very beginning. It's like, oh, yeah, this has been going to be the biggest yoga experience of my life. In terms of not letting fear get in the way, not letting my own ego get in the way of, like, oh, I'm not good at this, I don't want to do this. You know, Andy, you were saying earlier about it's so mysterious. Sometimes we don't know why we keep coming back to yoga. We know it's doing something for us, and that's the beauty of it. And next year, I'm going to say, this is what yoga's done for me. 2 years from now, it's going to be a whole new set of things that I can say, this is what yoga's done for me. But it's just about the consistency. It's about the dedication and commitment to, for me, being a better person. And that just means taking the time to breathe, taking the time to be still, taking the time to do asana. That's what I have to do, and it makes my life better. And I trust in that. And that to me is, you know, that's being spiritual for me.